Very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Thursday edition of the show. I'm here, me, Adebayo. Well, as we speak, 5 games currently going on. 1 in the English Premier League, 2 in the Europa League, and of course 2 in the Conference League. We'll do our best to monitor and let you know what's happening across those various centers. We'll try to be your eyes and your ears, just in case you have no means to know what's going on in those places. We will also be talking about matches gone by. UEFA Champions League matches played, of course, yesterday, and we'll still probably talk about the one played on Tuesday as well. That's the outlook of the show. We'll give you a slice of the Federation Cup as well, if time allows. That's the outlook of the show today. As you already know, it's a 2-man show. My colleague Osno Konakpan is suited and ready.
What a greetings to you, Yemi, and of course, everyone joining us on the show tonight. Still an action-packed world of sports. Yes, you just mentioned we're monitoring live games, particularly that London derby between Chelsea and Tottenham. It's still Chelsea 1, Tottenham 0. Chaloba's goal in the 24th minute, still the difference. In London, all is now set, Yemi, for the WBO Cruiserweight World title bout between British-Nigerian boxer Richard Riakpo and, of course, his counterpart from the United Kingdom, Chris Billam-Smith. I was at a press conference yesterday for the official announcement, and during the face-off, you see pictures, you could tell that these guys are battle-ready. June the 15th, at Selhurst Park, home of Crystal Palace, home of the Eagles, and is also home to Richard Riakpo. He has said he wants to get all of the support that he can get for this world title fight, and he wants to bring it back home.
All right, sir. We'll talk about the WBO Cruiserweight title fight. We'll see what happens in that one. Austin will give us details about that bout that will take place in Selhurst Park. He'll tell us all the things we need to know. All right, let's quickly introduce our guest in the Lagos studio. Bolu Amadi joins us now. Greetings to you, Bolu. Thanks for finding out time to be with us on the show tonight.
Good to be again. We saw crazy games in the UEFA Champions League at the Allianz Arena. Massive game, Signal Iduna Park yesterday. Beautiful game as well. And like Austin rightly said, those boys from London, those that are hovering around the 10th Avenue and they once chasing Champions League facing each other. But the Europa League has been somewhat a huge competition in the last 2-3 years, and this season is showing the same thing. Those guys look to be doing something unthinkable. Talking about Leverkusen, they want to win a treble. Unbeaten. Now they're leading away at Stadio Olimpico. My God, I would love to see it. Let's even wait to see how they'll finish. They've secured the Bundesliga. Let's see if they can win the German Derby Cup and, of course, this UEFA Europa League. Another game, Aston Villa down at home, but they pull on back. Hopefully they get a draw. In sports, anything can happen.
In sports, anything can happen. But let's use, the early minutes on the show to talk about everything. Let's start with Chelsea and Tottenham. I said it last week. Martin Keown, former Arsenal player, Arsenal legend, said it appears like Spurs don't have any ambition. The only ambition they have is to stop Arsenal from winning anything. For a team that you think have the opportunity, their destiny in their own hands, if they win those matches they have on Aston Villa, they probably will be sitting in a comfortable position, ahead of Aston Villa, and they'll nick it. But it looks like, Trevor Chalobah's goal, and from what I saw of the game, it looks like they're not just fighting as hard as you would expect. Even
going above Aston Villa is somewhat impossible after losing the North London. Even though I felt some calls were against them in that game. But winning that match and winning to a standing game will make them level with Aston Villa. Then goals difference will separate them. But after losing that game, 7 points behind Villa. And now they are losing in the London derby against the Chelsea. Remember, Chelsea thrashed them 4-1 in the first leg. It feels like Champions League is gone for them. And we know England are not getting the 5th spot for next season's Champions League. So it's either you make the top 4 or you're out. If they lose this one, it means they'll still remain 7 points behind Villa with just 1 game in hand. I think they can kiss that goodbye. And the Villa losing in the Europa Conference League, if they end up losing this time, it means they know all our focus now has to be on the making the top 4 and making the Champions League. It feels like things are not working well for Spurs. For a team that started so well, when their manager, I think their manager won the first 2 managers of the month. It brought us back to Nuno Espirito Santo, the same thing when he also joined Spurs, winning. So it's not about how you start. It's from the middle phase of the season, you start knowing the best from the rest. Then how the season ends is what really matters. I remember when Postecoglou came on board, talking about how it's not here to come, he wants to win and everything. And sometimes when Spurs, it feels like Spurs are cursed because the man that took them to their first final in a long time, they ended up sacking him before the final. So I don't see them making the top four. It feels like another battle has to be for next season. This season look to be gone. It's just a matter of let's just finish the remaining games for the rest of the season.
All right. Austin is monitoring. Bully is trying to see if he can get information as well. Has anything changed apart from Trevor Chalobah's goal? And your thoughts from what you've seen?
Yeah, it's now Chelsea 2. Tottenham 0. It has changed, and I think that does it for Tottenham's season and this quest to, play in the FA Champions League. And it is the man who everyone seems to be criticizing lately, Nicholas Jackson, with the second goal for the Blues. And I think Chelsea have been better off. And look, this season, no matter how you take a look at it, at the end of the day, the London teams didn't really, step up to it the way we're expecting, aside from the Gunners. And now that it has come to a very difficult time of the season, they're playing themselves. And look, everyone needs the points. Chelsea needs to finish strongly. Tottenham chasing the top four. Arsenal chasing the league title. And if you also check those other smaller London teams, they can also mess you up. If you play Brentford, if you play Fulham, you can start asking questions. West Ham also, So it is what it is. It's a very difficult state right now of the season, business end of it. So Chelsea needs all the point that they can get to this game, and they're doing the business, and that's why it's Chelsea 2, Tottenham 0.
All right, let's quickly make a brief stop with the European Cup competitions currently going on, Europa League, and of course the Conference League. But let's quickly talk about this one. Last time I checked, I don't know if it has changed, Marseille, Atalanta, Chancellor Member scored for Marseille, and of course Kamaka on the score sheet for Atalanta. It was 1-1. I'm very sure if there's any update, Austin will let us know. And you talk about Bayer Leverkusen. Somebody joked that anytime it looks as if Bayer Leverkusen wants to lose, they'll remember the Unbeaten and they will give it all it takes to ensure they don't lose.
Well, the Marseille versus Atlanta game is still 1-1 playing in France there. But the Leverkusen thing, it just reminds me of what we saw of the Arsenal Invincibles, 03-04. There were games we could have sworn Arsenal were going to lose. Maybe they remember and they just fight. But that Leverkusen have scored 11 goals in added time this season. How? Even in the last round of the Europa League, you thought they were losing. The previous round, you thought they were losing. They always find ways to get back into the game. Stuttgart have been brilliant in the Bundesliga so far this season. They were leading 2-0. Away to Leverkusen, felt finally at least they won the league. They would end up losing. They still found a way to get back into that game and play to all. I think they know. So that's probably what they are fighting for. And leading away to Roma, I think the best Roma can end up getting in this game is a draw. I don't think they are going to end up losing. In fact, Leverkusen should have scored more. Frimpong has had 2 chances. The 4 guys, which had also had the chance to have scored more. So it feels like these guys don't want to lose. And based on what we are seeing, I think they'll go the unbeaten in the Bundesliga and play in the 2nd division or 3rd division team in the DFB Cup final. Yes, they've eliminated about 3 teams from the Bundesliga. I think Leverkusen will still do enough to win that one. The question now is, can they continue, go all the way in the Europa League? But if they win this one unbeaten, who says they can't do it in the final?
Let's step down. Conference League, Aston Villa, you said they've got a goal back, was 2-0 before I came in. And of course, Fiorentina and Club Brugge. Last time Club Brugge played anything similar to this was around 40 years ago.
I was surprised they got to this stage. They got to the semi-final. Club Brugge normally they get to Champions League. The best they make is 3rd. They drop the Europa League and lose from that next round. But here they are in the semi-final. Yeah, they are playing a better side in Fiorentina, but they are away. If the game even ends 2-1 like this, they can still go to Belgium in the 2nd leg and pick up a ticket to qualify. Do you know how crazy to be having Olympiacos, who used to be a top team in the... I remember Real Madrid versus Olympiacos played for years in the Champions League. Imagine having Club Brugge versus Olympiacos in the final of the European Cup. John, it would be interesting. But like they say, everyone loves the Cinderella story. That's one thing Austin says every time. Let's see how far they can go. But Aston Villa need to win this game. Yes, they are pushing for an equalizer. Watkins scored the only goal for them. But if they don't win this one, I don't think they're going to shock Olympiacos away. Yes, we saw it in the, I think it was in the round of 16, where Olympiacos lost 4-1 at home, then went away to win 5-1. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen this time. If Olympiacos win this away to Aston Villa, I think it's game over for the Villains.
All right, let's see if anything has changed. Austin is, monitoring what's currently going on in those 4 games. And of course, it will give us his thoughts. Doesn't look good for Aston Villa in the Conference League right now.
Yeah, it doesn't look good, but the good thing is, they were able to pull one back just before half-time Ollie Watkins with a goal. Remember, Ayoub El Kabi has scored a brace for Olympiacos. Now, Aston Villa, we need to fight. And if you check their journey in this Conference League, it's been one that has always tested their character. So let's see what Unai Emery's team can do in the second half. I think they can do just enough to either play a draw or give us a dramatic finish to that one. So at the moment, second half just commenced. It's still Aston Villa 1, Olympiacos 2. The second game is now Fiorentina 2, Club Brugge 1. So that's what it is at both centers. One, the away team is leading. The second one, the home team with the lead. Let's talk about Bayer Leverkusen. 50th minutes already played. It's still Roma 0, Bayer Leverkusen 1. I was listening to Bolu. Listen, everything that Leverkusen they've done this season defies logic. I was listening to some analysis on radio just before I came on air. When they scored, someone called in and said, look, if Roma scores 3, it will end 3-3. And the presenter was like, why? Is that because Leverkusen will score in the 90th minute? They just don't know how to lose. But if they win this one, it's fantastic for their run. They go back to Germany and see how they can seal it and make it to the finals of the Europa League. And we will keep talking about Xabi Alonso and this phenomenal, outstanding, fantastic Bayer Leverkusen team, Yemi.
All right, let's yield to you now and talk about boxing. You've whetted our appetite. We're looking at the WBO Cruiserweight title fight that involves a Nigerian-British boxer. And of course, we also hear both boxers have fought before with Riakpo having the upper hand. That was 5 years ago. And Riakpo's been saying, look, I'm stronger, but it looks like William Smith is the one who looks weaker now.
William Smith has grown. You know, we need to give him his flowers. Don't forget, he defeated another British-Nigerian boxer, Lawrence Okoli, to win these WBO belts. Now, Richard Riakpo says, look, it's my time. That's the promoter in front of them, Ben Shalom in the middle. Ben has said, look, this fight means so much to Richard Riakpo. They're going to Selhurst Park. That's the home of Crystal Palace. That's where Richard Riakpo grew up. And now he has said, look, anyhow you want to take a look at it, I am going to beat this guy and win this belt. He said to me they will announce and knew. And I think he's done more than enough. And I think he has a fantastic record at the moment. Is feared in the cruiserweight division. But hey, look at cool, calm, and collected William Smith. And he told me, he said, look, William told me, Austin, that fight was 5 years ago. It has nothing to my career. It is insignificant. We have both matured as boxers. That was in 2019. We're going to fight June the 15th, 2024. So much has happened. So it's going to be a different fight entirely. Sports Tonight will bring you the exclusive package tomorrow. I was there. We'll put together a proper report. I'll tell you about it. The undercard is also interesting. It's got Ezra, the African King, also going for the European title against Ben Whittaker. And with the vibes I saw at the presser, that one also will definitely get us talking. But what I love in all of this is there is no conversation right now from the cruiserweight to the welterweight to the heavyweight to the light heavyweight that you do not have a boxer of Nigerian heritage in the mix. It's beautiful.
All right, very interesting. All the best to Richard Riakpo. All right, also it's time to take us to Bielsa's date. I don't know how it happens. You always end up being the one talking about the Prosperity Cup.
You know, Danny, we started it, and at the time, because everything grassroots football development, Channels Television, we've shown that we can be the model. So whoever wants to do something at the grassroots, they come to us, you know, to be able to put a light out there. So at the time the Prosperity Cup was starting, you know the problem we have in Nigeria. Sometimes we can't tell if it's going to last. Is it going to be one-off? But this Prosperity Cup has shown that it has come to stay. It has united communities in Bielsa State. It has promoted social cohesion. It has shown that with sports, we can use it to get youth together and make them useful people in the society. This is the 6th edition. The draw ceremony was done today. The governor was also around to unveil the kits. You remember what I always tell you, that for sports to thrive in Nigeria, that executive order, that executive power where it is drawn from must be involved. If we want to do well around sports, the presidency must take it serious. At state level, the government house must take it serious and make sure that everything that they're doing at that level, people are following and they're respecting it. So shout out to Bayelsa State. They took the opportunity also to congratulate Finidi George for his appointment as Super Eagles head coach. Talking points coming from the Prosperity Cup. Let's listen to that, and then we'll come back. We'll get Bolo's reaction.
So I want to thank you. The Prosperity Cup has come to stay and is doing so well. Make sure that you keep to the rules. Make sure that there is justice so that center referees will not rob off anybody of their games. Use this opportunity to appreciate the Nigerian Football Federation for appointing one of our own, Finidi George. I believe that he has gotten it in his own merit and that he's going to serve Nigerians.
Already we have almost 5 different scouting programs lined up. We have to select and identify the best one that will ensure that our boys, our talented players are taken to the globe. That is the whole essence of this. We need to empower the youth, we need to empower the boys, our players.
Love it here. I mean, they are treating this one with all seriousness, and I love it because Bayelsa State government, they've shown that by the time states get into the mix and we start developing football from the state level, by the time we get to the federal level, Bolu, we will be winning.
It's not that hard. The fact that you can see the government being involved in it just speaks volume about what it's about. And any event, competition, whatever, that gets to the 6th edition, it means there's a certain level of consistency. And it's one of the things that kills many events here in Nigeria. 1, 2, 3 editions, then boom, it dies a natural death. Here we're talking about 6th. And for the governor to be involved, it means everyone knows what they are fighting for. And he said one thing that is key, that the referees should not be the killjoys. The referees should do the right things. I think this is a direct message to the NRA. I've listened to the president spoken about how much they want to make officiating good in that, but it feels like every week we still see drama. This is definitely meant for the governor to speak about it. It means they've seen 1 or 2 things. If everyone comes together, puts their heads together, I believe sports as a whole can work in Nigeria. I can't wait for this to start. May 19th is just around the corner. Hopefully, we get to see the next best thing. I say it every time, if underage, grassroots sports and all thrive well, we won't be talking about age cheats, because if you have true young persons competing in events like Prosperity Cup, true young people, in the next few years, we won't be talking about taking men to under-17 World Cup. We will go to the World Cup with young people and end up winning, and we will beat our chest and say, indeed, these are teenagers.
All right,
I totally agree with you.
I hope we just continue with things like this. I hope that even after the governor leaves office, whoever comes in will continue with things like this. And, you know, many tiny drops come together and makes an ocean. If we continue to do that, and government can take a back seat and just put all the structure in place, and some of these problems we talk about in grassroots football will not be there anymore. Before we go on the break, let's quickly talk about what happened yesterday. Dortmund and PSG slugged it out. 2 teams a lot of people didn't give a chance to even get at all. And of course, it was the German that got a goal for Dortmund. Were missed chances for both teams, but at the end of the day, Dortmund came out tops. A single goal from Nico Folberg in that one. All right, let's quickly listen to the manager of Dortmund, Thomas Tuchel. We'll come back for more on Sports Tonight.
Of course, it's possible. It is still a 50-50 match. The result is totally even. I think we will be able to create chances in Bernabeu. Is it one of the most difficult places to win? Yes, but that's the challenge. It's the beauty of it, and it will be very, very difficult. But we have 90 minutes, maybe 120, or maybe penalties to put it to our side. What I like about it is that we have a very clear situation. About the result, we can forget the result and start from new. It's 0-0, and the goal is absolutely clear. We need to win.
All right, so sometimes, you get excited, and last one was Tuchel, a Bayern manager, not Dortmund, as I said. But, of course, we're talking about the Dortmund game earlier. But, of course, Bayern manager Thomas Tuchel, his immediate reaction after his team played against Real Madrid. Let's go on a break. When we return from that break, we'll continue from where we left it. All right, welcome back. We wanted to talk about the Champions League, but the Conference League is dragging us back. Off camera, we were talking about 2-2. Now we're hearing it's 3-2. Olympiacos, just when Aston Villa equalized, Olympiacos took the lead again. It's drama out there in England. Bolu, your thoughts on that one? You were telling me it was 2-2, and just before we could say anything, it's 3-2.
I guess before the break, 2-2, Diaby got the equalizer for them, massive celebration. Then after the break, Elkabi got his hat-trick from the penalty spot. It's, I think Olympiacos are just fighting hard to tell them that, guys, you may end up beating over here. The local balance will die here. And it feels like that's what Olympiacos are, because they know a positive result is what will help them in the second leg, because a loss here means Villa can decide to sit back. And the Aston Villa, we know, under Emery, they don't even sit back. They push hard to try and get as much as they can. I like that they are fighting hard. But Olympiacos really want to make this final, because based on what is, I think if either or, they have a chance against either Fiorentina or Club Brugge. Like everyone knows, in a tournament final, anything can happen. The best team you could might just snooze, and whoever you call the underdog may pick it up. So it feels like if they win this one, they may just secure their final spot. But Villa are definitely not going to sit back. They will try as much as they can to get an equalizer out. Like Austin said, even try and win it at the Villa Park, because at home is where they have their biggest advantage.
All right, we have a lot to say, but of course, trust us, we'll get interrupted with what's happening across. So let's go to Austin. Maybe by the time Austin starts speaking now, maybe something else would have happened.
I was hoping to jump on it, but I see you guys are following it also, and that's so good. Exquisite goal scored by Moussa Diaby from the tightest of angle, and they were still rejoicing right there at Villa Park when they made that silly error to concede a penalty to give El Kabi an opportunity to score his hat-trick. So Olympiacos leads 3-2, but this is this is European football where, we have seen it over and over again, that when you think it's going this way, it starts heading that way. So let's wait and see if Aston Villa can give us something to talk about. The game is still young, just 59 minutes played. If the Olympiacos can score 3 goals, who says Aston Villa cannot score 4? The game between Roma and Bayer Leverkusen, that game is now in its 63rd minute, and Bayer Leverkusen, they are doing just enough to hold on to that goal that they got first half. The game between Marseille and Atalanta is still 1-1. It's still Fiorentina 2, Club Brugge 1. I'm monitoring the game between Chelsea and Tottenham. That game is in added time now. About 3 more minutes to be played, and it will be done. It's still Chelsea 2, Tottenham 0.
All right, that's it. That's what the show is about today. We're giving you updates, filling you in with what is happening across the globe in all competitions, Europa League, Conference League, and of course, English Premier League. Bolu, I saw you waving your hand at me. I was thinking something happened.
Not yet, but the Chelsea Spurs had a good chance to push forward, but instead of shooting, they decided to pass the ball to goal kick. So I thought that was having a pullback, having a dramatic end to them. It's more like I pity Spurs, because they've tried and tried and tried. They've tried buying, they've tried grooming. Unfortunately, it's just not working for them. And it feels like if this game ends like this, bye-bye to UEFA Champions League for them.
All right, well, maybe they'll be back in the Europa. Who knows? We'll see what happens with that one. Before we went on that break, we were trying to talk about the UEFA Champions League. Let me go to Austin and get his thoughts. Dortmund, PSG, 2 teams that a lot of people didn't give a chance to be here, but just a single goal separated both teams, but there were a flurry of chances missed by both sides.
Yeah, beautiful game of football, from start to finish. It was all shades of beauty, that game between Borussia Dortmund and PSG. And that's the beauty of the UEFA Champions League. 2 teams that we didn't expect to make it to the semis. They give us fantastic football. Even the fans gave us something to talk about. Did you see the yellow wall when it started singing, "You Will Never Walk Alone"? Gracious goodness. It gave me chills. I was like, this is football at its best. And these Dortmund players, they came out to play for the fans. And look at the respect they showed the fans right after the final whistle. Kylian Mbappe and PSG, they did just enough but it wasn't just good enough for them to either tie that game. They will try to see how they can win it at Parc des Princes, but I know Dortmund will go to France with a lot of character. They will go to France doing everything that they can to get us still talking about them. Not a team that has done so well this season in the league. I think they are 5th on the log, but look at how they are showing some level of character in the UEFA Champions League, and that's a beautiful story through and through, Yemi.
All right. Of course, we didn't get a chance to talk about Bayern and Real Madrid. The game was going on when the show ended, and this is the first time we're returning. I'll talk about that as well. I mean, do you think it's still on a knife edge? Do you think any of the sides have an advantage?
You just need to give it to Real Madrid. You know, just because they don't just love this competition loves Real Madrid. There's just something about the way Real Madrid approaches the UEFA Champions League. It's admirable. You just love how they set up. You just love how they keep fighting. You just love how they travel away from home and they know that they're going to make you suffer. They're not going to lose. Bayern Munich did their bit, you know, not to lose at the Allianz Arena. I think they started so well also. They were strong on the counter. But Real Madrid just knows how to jump on opportunities when they're playing the UEFA Champions League. And this guy, Vinny, just knows how to turn up when you need him to turn up. So if you want to go, they're both traditional Champions League teams. They're both big teams. You can't just say, oh, Real Madrid will run over Bayern Munich at the Santiago Bernabeu. But with what we've seen, right from the Manchester City game to this Bayern Munich game, forget about what they did in the group stage. Real Madrid has shown that, look, we love the UEFA Champions League, and when we want to win it, the only team that can stop Real Madrid is Real Madrid.
I agree with you. But we're having a conversation around this game, and at some point it's centered on 2 players, potential Ballon d'Or winners, potential World Footballer of the Year, FIFA Best Award winners, Vinicius Jr., Jude Bellingham. Those 2 players, very instrumental to what's happening with Real Madrid. If this team goes on to win the Champions League, and maybe their countries, either at the Euros or at the Copa America, do so well, you have a feeling one of these 2 players will emerge as either the Ballon d'Or winner or the winner of the FIFA Best Awards.
As it stands now, based on the normal permutations about power rankings and all, it feels like Jude Bellingham is first with Kylian Mbappe behind him and Harry Kane and the likes. But if Real Madrid wins the UEFA Champions League, all the ranking changes. Vinicius and Mbappe and Bellingham becomes number 1 and 2. Then, if for whatever reason, England wins the Euros and Brazil wins the Copa America, just forget any other voting. It will now be Real Madrid fans trying to battle, who do we give between Vinicius and Bellingham? Even as it stands, both of them are still probably at least top 5. That's adding the likes of Harry Kane and adding Kylian Mbappe. But if they win the UEFA Champions League, except something extraordinary happens, I think either of them will win the Ballon d'Or. And you know, there's a huge hype on every British player. And with Jude Bellingham being like the bright, shining star right now for English football, he is definitely going to be favourite to win it. And for a midfielder with all the number of goals he scored, so much that people don't even pay attention to how he plays, because of the number of goals. We know Vinicius, despite the injuries and everything, he's made it back to back years now that he scored over 20 goals. Even his assists, he's got double figures for assists. So both of them will definitely be favorites to win the Ballon d'Or if Real Madrid end up winning the Champions League. And as it stands, it feels like they are the favorites. And if they get to the final, it's almost impossible for you to bet against Real Madrid in the final. Like Austin Riley said, they don't even have to play well sometimes. And playing well is relative. Most people see playing well is all attack. And I tell you, football is in different phases: defense, attack, and possession-based. You can decide to choose whichever one you. And I like what Henry said. Defending is also part of the game, which is an art. Italians will tell you attack wins you games, defense wins you trophy. And it feels like that's what Real Madrid are doing. I tell people, you may not see Real Madrid with any record. Maybe best home record in the Champions League, maybe unbeaten record. You won't see Real Madrid.
The most important one.
Just win. That's what they want. We don't care where we win. We just want to qualify and win. And picking the draw at the Allianz Arena, now going at home, the advantage is theirs. And if they get to the Champions League, 2 years ago, Fede Valverde went and asked him, 14 Champions League for Real Madrid, what do you think? He said, we want to win 15, that's why I'm going 15. It just shows the mindset of these guys, and it's going to be difficult to bet against them for the second leg.
Let me just quickly say,
briefly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me just throw this in
also. The game between Chelsea and Tottenham. has ended. Chelsea 2, Tottenham 0. I've switched over to the game between AS Roma and Bayer Leverkusen. That game is still 1-0 in favor of the visitors, but walk with me to Italy. Let's go find out what's happening in that game between Fiorentina and Club Brugge. It's now 2-2. What a story. Super Eagles midfielder Rafael Onyedika got a second yellow card in the 61st minute and was shown a red card. Club Brugge, with one man down, said, no, we will fight. We can do it. And Igor Thiago scored for Club Brugge to level things up. Can you believe it? Despite being one man down, it's now 2-2.
Interesting times in European football. Also, I wanted to get you into the conversation when I was so eager. The things we're talking about in and around the UEFA Champions League and, you know, talking about football awards later on. Yeah. With all Bolu has said, would the conversation change and tilt if PSG ends up winning the Champions League and France do well? Because the attention has been on Jude Bellingham and Vinicius Jr. But will that tilt it towards Kylian?
That's a very tricky one, Yemi. And I totally agree with you because remember, we talked about this thing with awards. Sometimes I think it's all about data mining and influence. So they think about it now. Jude Bellingham has been consistent. He's gotten us talking all season. Same thing with Vinicius. But Kylian Mbappe hasn't been terrible. Also has good stats, but hasn't really given us those sort of mentions that we've gotten from Jude Bellingham and Vinicius Jr. Now, if PSG goes on to win the UEFA Champions League with the pedigree of Kylian Mbappe, if you're now organizing an award, but for media mentions and all of that and influence, we will be looking at giving that award to Kylian Mbappe because he's got the personality. Remember that's what I said about Messi and Ronaldo at the time. I said, put Messi, put Ronaldo into the mix, and you're talking about other players, then you're just wasting your time because football loves those personalities, you know. Look at the great Ibrahimovic. We don't even talk about Ibrahimovic because he was playing football when Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo, you know, were on fire. So, yeah, I agree with you. It can tilt, and anybody will stand up and argue it. Say, are you trying to say Kylian Mbappe isn't a big player? Look, let's bring out the numbers. He did this, he did that, he did this, he did that. And then before you know, that argument is done and dusted. But it's unfortunate. That's what it is. Yeah, I mean, influence comes into this thing. Personality comes into it. And winning competitions matters, particularly when you now go on to win the UEFA Champions League. I tell you this, if PSG wins the UEFA Champions League, no matter how the team gets to play, everyone will be jumping on Kylian. Kylian did this, Kylian did that, Kylian did it. And that's all what will be in the media, and they'll just use that to give him the award. Let's go to see that what's going on in Italy. It's now Roma 0, Bayer Leverkusen 2. Tell me what can stop Xabi Alonso and this Bayer Leverkusen team, Yemi.
I don't know. I don't know if Bolu knows.
Well, even Aston Villa now are down 4-2.
Wow.
The interesting thing is, luckily I didn't jump before Austin mentioned the Club Brugge game because I was going to say, oh, Oyendika is red carded and I think they will lose. Luckily, we didn't say anything, and boom, they got the equalizer. But as much as they got, Aston Villa now are down 4-2. I think I'm enjoying the Europa League and the conference now. They're just serving us drama. But talking about that Leverkusen, I won't be shocked if those guys win a treble and end up winning it unbeaten. Because it feels like no matter what, they know the assignment. I think players will tell you are not thinking about it. It's a lie. They know. Everyone is saying it. They all read on social media, and I think they want to deliver just that. 2-0 at Stadio Olimpico. I think Roma are out of the Europa League. It's just to focus now because Italy have 5 slots in the Champions League for next season. It's just going to battle it out in the Serie A to make sure they come back to Europe next season. But for this one, I think this tie is over.
All right, let's move on and talk about all the things we have before we call it a day. Tomorrow in the English Premier League is going to be Everton and Luton Town. Everton seem to be handling whatever has been thrown at them very well. Let me just quickly go across, give you a confirmation of what you're going to see. Everton up against Luton Town playing at home, up against Everton. Bolu, quick one, we're pressed on time. You see Luton surviving the draw?
Luton Town have they picked themselves up at some point. So much that Arsenal needed at that time goals to beat them away from home. Liverpool needed at that time goals to get an equalizer there. City also sweated and everything. But since then, they've dropped their batting a bit. And for everything, they just found ways to get themselves back. I remember FA have told them their appeal to get their points back will be in the final week. It just brings more drama to it. And Everton, if you check their game in a recent game, they've been doing so well, keeping clean sheets. For Luton, I think if they get anything from this match, it's probably going to be a draw. I think they're going back to where they came from, unfortunately, but it is what it is. 3 teams have to go down. Either you love them or not. 1 down, talking about Sheffield United, and 2 more to go. I think Everton will definitely survive the drop.
All right, Austin, quickly, your thoughts on this one?
Shout out to Everton first. What a story. They've shown us that, look, when you're down, you're not out. Pick yourself up, keep fighting. Sondage and this Everton team, look, they deserve all the respect that we can give to them, because some teams would have fizzled out and would have been struggling by now. But they've done just well, and they're 16th on the log. Luton Town, look, I was speaking to a Tottenham Forest, a Nottingham Forest fan, and I said, if Taiwo Awoniyi doesn't come back and hit the form that we saw in the last 5 seasons, in the last 5 matches last season, then Nottingham Forest will drop for Luton Town. I'm telling you, because if you take a look, I think it's just 1 point that separates them. And if Luton Town does anything extraordinary tomorrow against Everton and goes on top and leaves that relegation zone, it will change the way they now approach the league season. And Nottingham Forest, we need to do just enough. Look at that game against Manchester City. They had the opportunity because City didn't show up. They had chances, they're not taking it. They are losing games they shouldn't lose. They travel out of, they travel away, they lose games. They come back home, they lose games. These small teams are watching, and what has happened to Luton Town, everything that they went through, right from when their captain collapsed, survived it, and now they try to come back into it. Football is just trying to tell us that, look, we might just favor Luton Town unless Nottingham Forest get their season back and start winning from now till the end of the season. Otherwise, I think Luton Town will just survive, and Nottingham will be telling us a different story.
All right, let's move on. We'll come back home quickly and look at the FA Cup, President Cup is what we call it now. And, of course, round of 64 results, selected results, that is. Bernal Insurance beats Thomas 1-0. Wiki Torres hammered Damburan FC 5-0. Korodu FC beats Green Beret 3-0. Aqua United defeated Sinojo 1-0. These are some of the results. Rangers International and Kano Pillars stalemated. Gombe United defeated Karim FC 3-1. El Kanemi, of course, beats Adam Imogo 2-0. And Kwara United beat Rovers 4-1. These are some of the selected results in the round of 64. Shooting Stars through to the next round after playing a 1-1 in regulation time against Solution FC, but they win 3-2 on penalties. Casino United hammered Duse Strikers 7-1. Nasra United, of course, got the better. Squeeze past FC Bako by a lone goal. All right, these are the results. We'll bring you more on that one. I guess that's a good place to leave it. Austin, we got to go, unless there's a breaking news.
No, not breaking news. Aside the updates that Bolu gave, that it's now Aston Villa 2, Olympiacos 4. Same result, Fiorentina 2, Club Brugge 2. Bayer Leverkusen holding on tight. That game is now in its 85th minute, and it's still 0 in favor of Xabi Alonso team. The game between Marseille and Atalanta has refused to move. It's still 1-1. I also told you that the game between Chelsea and Tottenham has ended at Stamford Bridge, and the Blues, went away with a 2-0 win. That's the show. In London, I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember, let's keep talking sports. Bye for now.
All right, there's a wrap here as well. But first, I want to thank Bolo Money for his time on the show today.
So it was a pleasure being around.
Hopefully, we'll do this again some other time.
Definitely.
All right. Thank you for allowing us into your homes without knocking. It's a privilege we will never take for granted. We'll do this again tomorrow. I'm Amy Adebayo.